No gold is not in her. She's a dime.
Welcome to another exciting episode of $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
I gotta tell you a little something. This is gonna be the third time we're trying to do this episode for you. We want to show you what sold, and we did it the first week, and we didn't have a computer that was able to handle it, so we basically looked like we were doing the robot. And it was very, very herky-jerky. That was a dance back in the day. And then the next time we did it, and there was no sound. So I believe we were talking when we were going over this kind of stuff, but there was no sound.
Give us an example.
So there was no sound at all. That's kind of what it sounded like. I was going to try to dub it in, but I didn't think that would be very good. It would be like, and, Mr. Magazine says something, something, something. I kind of fell asleep during it, so didn't really want to do that. So this is going to be the third time that we're going to try this. We're going to show you some incredible things that we were able to sell over the last, at this point, I guess it's almost the last month. So whenever you're ready.
All right, here we go. I'm going to jump right in. My most recent, I'm going to call it a score because I was very happy with this. 49 issues of Nature Magazine for $800. I had them individually listed for about $20-25. Had them around for about a year or two, but they all are near mint condition with the original brown mailing label, so that's why the guy wanted them.
Or mailers, right?
Mailers, yep.
Yep.
They were high grade. He bought a few single ones, was happy with it, and he wanted to buy the rest, so he cleaned me out. $800. Can't argue with that.
What years were they?
They were 40s and 50s, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. See, and this is one thing over here that is, and you obviously know where I'm going with this, that's a terrible listing, but that's fine to be a terrible listing. And the reason why is because you made a deal with the gentleman, right, and then you listed it for him only, exactly, right there on eBay. And there's no problem at all doing that. A lot of times people will contact you and say, hey, can you give me a package deal? Can you? Sure. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but you need to do it through eBay. So what you do is you set up a listing like this over here.
Private listing.
Private listing, more or less, yeah. Give them the item number, they go on it, and they buy it. And nothing wrong with doing that. And it worked out wonderfully in this case.
Yeah, if you go outside eBay and they catch you, they could kick you off, suspend you, and definitely not worth it.
Well, another thing that they will do, too, is let's say that they had suspicion that you were doing that. They may not kick you off, but they will charge you fees.
Sure.
So, if you vended something for $100 and they have suspicion from the emails that you did it, they will charge you $10 fee for it, even if you didn't end up selling it. So, better just to avoid that whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what else do we have here?
Next one, I think we're going to go with a sports theme right off the bat here. We got a Michael Jordan suit upper deck materials card. It's graded a PSA 9. So, this is a cloth piece of material on the card that he wore.
Wow.
And being a 9 is a mint grade. I think it went for $180. I was asking $200, so happy with that for sure.
Now, how do, I guess, what does the manufacturer do in a case like this? Like, how do they...
Upper Deck, they buy, or it gets auctioned off, and they buy the suit that he wore, and they cut it up into a bunch of pieces, and they just disperse it into cards, and then some they number them, and they go for more money, or if there's pieces with other articles of clothing attached to it, or stitching or something, they could sell for a premium.
They also do, I guess, jersey cards or something
Jerseys,
like that?
pants, gloves, stadium seats, you name it. Sand. Yeah.
Sand?
Yeah. Yeah, they put in a little case in the card on photos, sure.
For
sports.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. They're making every last dime, aren't they?
Oh, for sure. So Michael Jordan, he also was a rookie, 86 Fleer basketball. I sold the set minus the Jordan rookie for $512, but not bad. 132 cards, near mint condition. I did have the Jordan, but it wasn't. The grade didn't meet the other cards in the set. It was poor condition, so I ended up selling that separately.
And I know over the last couple of weeks, given that we've tried to show you this in the past, I know we've talked about this before. What is the trouble with selling the Michael Jordan rookie on eBay?
It's been duplicated and reproduced many times. A lot of fakes in circulation, so they must be graded and authenticated to sell on eBay.
And is that just the Michael Jordan rookie? Or is
there's other ones, Tiger Woods. There's who else is there?
Gretzky, I believe.
Gretzky, Opeachy. I don't know what the top. It's definitely Opeachy.
And then, isn't the Jordan Star? I believe that one you also need to have graded.
Yeah, even though that was remanufactured from the original company, so I think they look identical. So I think they don't even grade them anymore for that reason.
Oh, wow. That I did not know either.
Crazy.
Alrighty, what else do we have
We're
here?
going to go with 2019-20 NBA Panini Prism Box. This is a green hobby box, 18 packs. Went for almost $400. I originally bought this for about $250 through Dave and Adams Card World in Buffalo, and I held on to it for about a month until Zion Williamson started playing again, and as you can see, it almost doubled.
Oh, wow.
Not a bad investment. They're not all that nice, but I got lucky on this one.
Oh, that's very nice, yeah.
So you could pull a Zion Williamson rookie, could be worth 100, or you can pull a rare one-of-one autograph card, could be worth 10, 20, 30,000. So
I knew something was up because I said, well, let's do another one of those pack busting things because I kind of saw that, and then you brought out like the 1992 Fleer, and I said,
yeah, exactly. Not a bad, yeah, Gary Payton rookie.
Baseball.
Oh, sorry. Here we go. Going into toys now. Hot Toys. Captain America Civil War action figure 1/6 scale. It went for $500. These are always tough to find. There's only a handful. Once they sell out, if you want them on eBay, second-hand market, it's going to cost you more money.
And I think we've talked in the videos that nobody's ever seen. Who puts Hot Toys out?
Sideshow and Hot Toys are affiliated together, and they do different runs, different characters, and so forth.
Highly articulated and everything there. Very, very nice
yeah.
item. What's the original retail on something like that?
They sell for $200 to $300.
Okay.
New, yeah.
Now, $200 to $300 new. Are you a dealer with that company, or
I am a dealer for Sideshow. Yeah.
Sideshow? Okay, so you can get the Hot Toy stuff too.
Yeah. No, I cannot get that.
Oh, you cannot?
You can only get them, I think, through their website. They're exclusive only. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I did pre-order 2 of the Baby Yoda's life-size figures.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are coming, I think, in June, July, if everything goes as planned.
So basically, if anybody out there happens to see something Sideshow that they're interested in, they can contact you.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, very good. Very good.
All right, moving on. What is next? For all you Evel Knievel fans, I had a lot of, I think about 5-6 pieces, including a stunt cycle and canyon rig and an unopened figure. So this was pretty nice. I went for $250. The boxes were a little rough. Or they could have went for 3 times that price, but near complete stuff and everything Evel Knievel always sells, so can't go wrong with him.
Yeah, and that is true also on magazines and all that sort of thing. You definitely list them on there. Another thing that you may find out there at some of the sales, they don't go for a ton, but you can find them regularly, so put them aside. You find the trading cards.
Right, yep.
Yeah, so, they don't go for a ton each. $1, $2 each, something other like that. So obviously you're at a sale and you find 2 of them and they're kind of throwing with other stuff. Don't just list those. Put them aside. You will come across more. They're not that uncommon, and you can end up building a partial set or a lot of commons or something other like that and get some money back out of them.
Sure, and high-grade ones could,
Oh, right.
They get authenticated, they can go for big bucks.
I think there were also short prints in that, but don't quote me on that.
All right, I think this is my last one, which is a shocking one. For you magazine collectors, Bikini Girls 1994 issue number 1 went for $256, and even I didn't know this. We ended up listing it, I think, for $25 through auction, and I had a bunch of, I think, 15 bids total. So very happy with that.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for a magazine. Definitely is. Got to be a short print run, all that kind of thing. Maybe somebody wanted one of the girls in it.
We mentioned a couple names, but I wasn't familiar with them, so maybe it was them, maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But can't argue with that.
Yeah, and there are people out there that do collect first issues as well. People also do collect things from, this is 1994, but one thing, just kind of to go off subject a little bit, something like a Life magazine. People buy those for birthdays.
And we listed a bunch one time. I got a collection in, and then we put birthday in the title. We sold a bunch of them.
Yeah, because a lot of people like to see what was going on, when their loved one was born. So it's kind of interesting on that side over there. So now we're turning it over to me, I believe.
Nope, I guess we're not. Take 3. Here we go. Analog Atari Magazine, issue number 4, $163. I bought a collection. I think I had about 10 of these in there, and they went for anywhere from $80 to $160. This was the best one, the earliest issue. I was shocked at this, but vintage video game and computer stuff goes for good money, so very happy with that deal. I knew it was worth buying, so I got them cheap.
And I know we've spoken in the past, kind of wondering what the distribution was on these. I don't believe they were newsstands.
Yeah, I don't believe so either. It's probably just like Radio Shack stores like that carried them and so forth.
Or wasn't there an Atari club or something like that back in
There
the day?
was, yeah, I remember. I don't think I was a member, but I do remember the club.
So it could have been that way too. Who knows? But any of the old video game stuff. And the other thing too is probably 15 years from now we'll be looking at this saying, "Wow, you gave that away."
Yeah, right, for sure.
Just video games are something or other that's just going to continue to grow in popularity. And some of this early stuff is very uncommon, and it's just going to get more uncommon as time goes on.
Yeah, great investment.
As more people get into collecting, these things go into other people's collections, and they're harder and harder to find. So this guy knew what he was doing. So I'll take over here. Now, I think the sum total of everything that I'm going to show you isn't going to add up to one of the things that you showed us, which is fine, though, because, you make your money, you make your money through low and high-priced items. I tend to make it through low to middle-priced items, but both ways you can make some money,
sure.
which is great. The first thing here is the Locomotive Engineer's Journal. The main reason I showed this to you is, and as we've spoken before, $16.13. Why do I say 13 cents?
Because it was the year you listed it.
Correct. 2013, this was listed. So it's been up for 7 years, and it sold. Got my asking price, which is great. But I had a bunch of these. I picked them up at auction, didn't pay a lot for them. They were in with some other stuff, and I was happy, and I listed them, and I sold a few of them here and there throughout the years. But after I had them listed, I got heckled by somebody who basically said, look, I've got lots of these. I set up at shows around the Pennsylvania area. I get $5 a piece. How are you asking 16? You're never going to get it. I'll sell you a bunch of them at $6 a piece. Which I said, well, wait a minute. Why are you charging me more than you do,
Right, exactly.
at a show? Isn't it usually you get a cheaper price when you buy in bulk? And the other thing was, maybe people aren't driving around to the show that you're at in Pennsylvania and willing to pay you $5. It cost them a lot more than that to find you, to track you down, and how do they even know you have the issue they're looking for? I've got it right over here. And I just kind of ignored the guy, and again, slowly they do end up selling. So nothing great, but I had to bring it up because I always love when I get heckled by somebody. Next thing over here is a Gourmet Magazine. Do you sell those, or?
I do, but never that early. Mine are always late 50s, 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, I picked up a lot of these and did, well on them. I didn't pay a lot for them, and I picked them up at a flea market, and the guy had, 3 or 4 boxes worth of them.
Nice.
And it's the classic, what do you want for them all? You want to buy them all? And that's a regular occurrence you'll hear. People just seem surprised. They're so used to people buying one here, one there, that when you make them an offer or want to know what they want and everything, they're actually surprised. In the back of my head's always, well, you're here to sell them all, aren't you? So he ended up giving me a very good price on them, and I brought them home and I started listing them. And yet another thing I got heckled on. Just because of my price. And again, I got $29 out of it. Well, somebody was working on the set, and they said, well, I usually pay $5 to $10 each for them. Are these super high grade? I said, they are high grade, yes. Well, why do you want $29? I pay $5 to $10 each on them. And I said, because I can't find these on any other sites. I said, and by all means, go ahead and buy all of them that you find for the $5 to $10, and then when you're down to only needing a few of them left, come back and I will have them for you. So that's one of those cases where the guy was trying to get me to charge lower to what other people charged on similar issues, but obviously they didn't have all the issues that he wanted.
Exactly.
So that's, stay firm in your price. There's nothing wrong with that. Next thing we have over here is Romantic Quebec brochure or booklet. And the reason I put this up is because I got an email from the person asking me if I would take $10 on it. Now, it's been listed since 2016. I have no problem taking $10 on it. It's been 4 years. But they sent me this item number, and they sent me another item number. Would you take $10 each on them? And I said, let me look into it. Guess what happened?
What's that?
The other item number was not one of mine. I would happily take $10 each. Unfortunately, I do not have the item to sell them. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you. Do people think you're Amazon or you're eBay?
We get calls a lot. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems. You get some new buyers on there. They don't understand that we're all individual people selling on the various sites. So they'll think that we can handle problems for eBay for them or Amazon for them, or they'll be upset, or they'll have a problem with somebody else and be complaining to us about it. And it's like, I'm sorry. I did my part. I sent this out to you. I can't answer for what somebody else did. So don't be surprised when that kind of thing happens. The next one is a Look magazine over here with just a frightening cover. It just really is a frightening cover. I took an offer on it, and one of the reasons why I took an offer on it is I did have another copy. So this went and sold. I hit relist, changed the condition a little bit on the relist, and put it up. So that's always a nice thing to do when you do have multiples. Just go ahead and list another copy right off of it. Nice and easy to do. And it also, I believe, is a little bit higher in search to start with because one has sold, so eBay thinks it's a popular item. Speaking of which, Crown Canadian Barley Malt Syrup unused label.
Mouthful.
The key is it's an unused label. How long have I had that up there?
It looks like 6 years.
Exactly, 2014, 6 years. So I've sold one in the past, and the person asked me to cancel it because they thought they were buying a thing of syrup. Then I sold 2 of these in the same day. Shipped them both out, no problem. Sold another one 2 days later. Then immediately got an email from the person asking me to cancel because guess what they thought I was selling?
More syrup.
Yep. Now, I wish I could sell syrup for $7.14, although then again, this is like probably from the 1930s from the looks of it. I don't know if the syrup would still be good or not. But sometimes people don't read and they see it. Now, it's listed in the pancakes and syrup area. It's not listed in the food area, anything at all like that. But again, people see it, they think it's something else, and that's that. Next thing over here is Roberts Wesleyan College, which is a local college, yearbook. I've had that up for a little while.
Wow, 12 years?
12 years, yep. Was out at a sale. They had a gigantic pile of them. I basically walked away very, very happy with the price that I paid because it was fill-up boxes for almost nothing just to haul them away for them, and they were happy about that. And I've sold a few throughout the years. Why did this sell? I don't know either.
I don't know. Okay, we're on the same page here.
But actually, the reason why it sold is because I listed 3 middle school yearbooks from another local thing. And when you list something, people find the thing you just listed, and then they find the other things that you have listed. So I just listed yearbooks. The next day, a yearbook sells. Obviously, people are searching on stuff. It pops up. They look at my other listings. So that's why when sales are slow, I definitely would advocate listing across as many categories as possible to get the most number of people looking at your various items. Don't list 100 postcards, list 10 postcards and 10 comic books and 10 magazines and 10 of this and 10 of that, because I think that definitely helps sales in a slow time. Next over here, we got the Rochester Nighthawks Lacrosse, Rochester Americans Hockey Big Game Book. Took an offer on it, $15. Person contacted me, said their kid was a big fan and would I be willing to sell it? I said, yeah, no problem whatsoever. Shipped it locally and all that. Went out first class mail, no problem. You can find this kind of thing regularly in your area for whatever team you happen to have. And I think we had talked the first time. What's another big thing that they give away at a lot of the games?
Bobbleheads.
Bobbleheads, yep. Just laughing because last time we made a joke that made me laugh, but we really can't work into it this time. Well, I guess we can. I asked Mr. Magazine, where do bobbleheads come from?
And I replied, their mommy?
Which would indeed be true. But basically, your local area has bobbleheads. They give them away at the various sports games, be it minor league baseball, be it major league baseball, be it lacrosse, soccer, hockey, etc., etc. They have them, and people do collect them. Now, once in a while, you do wind up with something great. Who's probably the most famous recent alumni of the Rochester Red Wings?
Well, I was going to say Spikes, and I'm wondering why he was snubbed and not on this cover.
That is true. He's the
Red Wings mascot.
He's the local mascot, yes. But who's probably the most famous player in our lifetime to have played for the Red Wings?
Joe Altabelli?
He is very famous.
No.
He is very famous.
Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken Jr., yep. He played there, and have they done giveaways for him? Bobbleheads and all that sort of thing?
For Altabelli as well, yeah. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Even local celebrities they do bobbleheads for.
I think they did one at JMac, if I remember.
I just sold one.
Yep. J-Mac, for those who don't know, was an autistic boy who got into a basketball game, and it made national news. But he's local, and that's the kind of thing that people do collect. So it's...
I want to add that he did win an ESPY for that as well.
Oh, wow. Did not know that. Next up over here is University of Rochester, another yearbook. Now, this sold recently. I took an offer of $75 on it. It's from 1894. It was actually, I picked it up on an estate sale, and the estate sale looked very, very good on paper. Looked very, very good. So I go to it and went around, and prices were a little high, and it really did not have the quality of stuff that it looked like it would have. But this was there at a reasonable price. So I picked it up and I listed it, and about a week after I listed it for $94, somebody offered me $20 on it.
Oh, gee, I hate that.
And was almost dismissive of my price, and more or less was saying, you'll be lucky to get anything more than this out of it. You should take the price. And I looked at it and I said, how many 1894 yearbooks are there? So definitely hold out. It took a year and a half, probably, something or other like that, to sell, but I ended up getting my price out of it. If you've got something that's rare, hold on to it. You will get your price. Somebody will want it. Definitely will want it at some point. Next thing we have over here, Father Flanagan's Boys Home, Boys Town, Nebraska. Letter and stamps. I'm putting you on the spot right over here. What would be another name for what I just sold? Junk mail.
Okay. All right.
Essentially, that's what it was. It was...
I was going to say junk, but okay.
Well, you were half right. 1956. Basically, it was a solicitation for donations and had some stamps in it. Now, Father Flanagan was famous back then. Helped boys with problems, all that sort of thing. Somebody obviously collected it, and it's difficult to find this sort of thing, obviously, because what do you do when you get junk mail?
I throw it out.
And that's what most people do. Well, somebody, for whatever reason, in 1956 saved it, and here we are 65 years later, and I was able to sell it. So that just shows that there is a collector out there for pretty much everything, and probably never going to see another one again. So it worked out well for them. And an aside, they actually asked me if I could hurry up and send it out because it was their birthday.
Wow.
So they apparently bought it for themselves for a birthday gift. Next thing over here, what is that?
Is it a deck of cards or one card?
One card.
One card. Wow.
Yep. Queen of Hearts.
Find one card.
Well, I actually found more than one, but I did not find a complete deck. And I actually bought this off of another dealer. There was a pack of cards, and he had sold a few of them out. I guess the Ace of Spades sells very well, and a few other cards sell very well. Well, he had a pile of them left, and he just kind of threw it in on a deal. But he told me, because I had no idea, but he told me that the brown oak leafback acorn, list it like that people end up collecting that stuff.
He was right.
He was right. I mean, it looks as though it took 6 years to sell, but it really didn't. Because I sell probably one card a year, something like that, and all I do is I relist off of it. So right now I believe I've got the Jack of Spades, I believe, is up currently. So when that one sells, I'll just go through and sell another one. Obviously, the face cards tend to sell better than that. But people are type collectors on playing cards. They realize how difficult it is to get an entire set. So what they end up doing is just get one of it, so they've got that back. Jokers would always sell out of these things, probably for a fair amount more. But take a look at old playing cards. You would be really surprised sometimes at what some of them go for, and that's just for one card.
Yeah, that's crazy. So the deck has to be worth $500 or more.
I would think so. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's a very rare set, apparently, a very rare deck. So, and again, I'm glad that he had picked them up and he had done the research and basically told me here's how to sell them, and he didn't want to sit around and hold on to them for a long time. Don't take up a lot of room. A playing card is pretty easy to store and pretty easy to ship. So it looks like we've kind of got to the end of what we've got there. Hopefully this video will work, and if not, we'll try it again next week. But hopefully you enjoyed the various things we have here. Hopefully you've learned a little bit, and you can go higher end like Mr. Magazine and sell some higher end items, or you can go with just some weird obscure things, junk mail and single playing cards. Either way, you can end up making some money, and that's the important thing, and maybe you do some research. Thank you.
Take it easy. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye.